I'm Alexandra Mehat, Product Marketing Director here at Fortinet. Let's get started on FortiAI and how FortiAI makes unified SASE more intelligent. Today, there are a lot of challenges for network and security operations teams. It brings operational inefficiencies, misconfiguration, lack of visibility that can lead to security gaps and errors. Here we have really significant statistics on this. For example, 95% of data breaches involved human error in 2024. So that leads to a lot of misconfigurations. That leads to breaches and security breaches in the systems. Second, 80% of organizations say that cloud create blind spots. And that can delay a lot issue remediation. So blind spots, lack of visibility is a key challenge today. Third challenge is really that complexity of a lot of different tools sprawl. So here we can see that in average, companies use 10 different monitoring tools to see what's happening in their network. So these challenges are really key, and it can lead to a lot of misconfiguration, a lot of inefficiencies in the teams today. Let's see how FortiAI can solve this. But first, what is FortiAI Assist? So FortiAI Assist is a GenAI assistant which will allow you to solve these challenges with 3 specific use cases. First use case, it will definitely simplify your troubleshooting. Let's say someone calls and says, I cannot access this application. My SASE is not working. FortiAI Assist is a great tool to simplify and accelerate that troubleshooting and access to the systems in minutes to see what's wrong. Then what FortiAI Assist can do for you is that initial configuration or provisioning. So unified SASE is composed of SD-WAN as well as FortiSASE. So for SD-WAN, it can allow you to configure specific sites, SD-WAN sites, in minutes. Or for FortiSASE, it can allow you to provision your users very fast. So initial provisioning and configuration are done faster and without any errors. Third use case is all about these automated diagnostics. FortiAI can proactively monitor everything that's happening in your system and give you diagnostics, reportings way easily. And it really streamlines your operations and monitoring across your network. So 3 key use cases here: simplifies your troubleshooting, helps with this initial configuration in unified SASE, and automatically gives you key diagnostics to monitor your system. So here's an example, one of the use cases. I already have multiple SD-WAN sites, but I need to onboard 5 new branches. Initially, without FortiAI Assist, it might take you several hours, several days even, because you might have multiple different templates. Scripting can be manual sometimes. You might not have the right person to do it, the right skills. And, doing it manually can bring human errors. As we can see, that's a huge challenge that brings misconfigurations. But with FortiAI Assist, you just ask the GenAI assistant, either talk to it or write, and then you can easily do that new configuration, add these 5 new SD-WAN sites. You can just put in a hand-drawn topology, and the AI will do it for you. We can see it even better here on that screenshot. You just simply draw your configuration, see what type of sites you want to do, what are the IP addresses you want to use, and then define the different configuration, define everything that needs to be done, ask you if that's okay, and then do it for you. Done in minutes instead of hours or even days. So for the operational teams, that really makes their life easy, and then they can spend more time on things that are more strategic, tasks that might be more relevant in their business, instead of spending too much time on just adding 5 new sites. So, as I said, Unified SASE has two things, our secure SD-WAN, as well as our FortiSASE for our SSE capabilities. So FortiAI Assist is available in our SD-WAN to add these sites to day 0, day 1 configurations, monitoring, troubleshooting. And FortiAI Assist is also available in FortiSASE. So use cases are also help with that initial user provisioning, simplify the troubleshooting, streamline the operations. So really it's that configuration assistant that allows you to also provision your users in FortiSASE in minutes and not days or hours. So simpler troubleshooting, streamlined operation, thanks to FortiAI Assist with FortiSASE. I also talked about that use case where you can have automated diagnostics. Here you can see the SD-WAN hub's health status, as well as the VPN's tunnel status for POP connectivity. So FortiAI Assist can really look through the whole system, the whole FortiSASE, as well as SD-WAN connectivity and integration, and enable that proactive monitoring for seamless user experience. So FortiAI Assist with Unified SASE, leaner operations, and improved customer experience. 1, streamlined operations. Security and network admins can handle more with less tools, less stress for the staff, and, well, we said that in average there were 10 different consoles. Well, that kind of disappears with FortiAI Assist. That can do everything for you. Second, it's really a proactive user experience monitoring. You have fewer help desk calls. It helps you increase the rapidity in which you solve these calls, less downtime for employees, more consistent work experience for everyone. And last but not least, faster troubleshooting. It reduces time to remediation from hours or days to minutes with FortiAI Assist in Unified SASE. Well, actually, FortiAI Assist also works hand in hand with our digital experience monitoring capability. And right now, you're going to see a great demo from Jordan, who will show how FortiAI Assist, together with DEM, can help with that really fast troubleshooting when a user has an issue accessing an application. Over to you, Jordan.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jordan Thompson, Senior VP of Product Development at Fortinet, and today I'm going to show you a demo of FortiAI and digital experience monitoring and how they can help your IT team troubleshoot real-time network challenges. And in this scenario, we have an IT team that has deployed SASE end-to-end, and they're wondering, how can it help me respond? And we're going to leverage that built-in digital experience monitoring capability of FortiSASE together with GenAI to troubleshoot a real-time network issue. So let's take a look at this scenario. Okay, so to recap the scenario, we have Peter, who's trying to access a private application, which is the internal HR wiki. And now the IT team needs to troubleshoot and figure out why that user can't reach that specific application. And so first, we'll use FortiAI to see if it can provide some guidance.
Hi there. I have an issue with Peter in finance. He's not able to access our internal HR wiki. Can you help investigate this?
Sure. I've identified an endpoint record for Peter S. connecting from Montreal, Canada. The HR Wiki application is hosted behind secure private access. There are no active alerts for this user or application. Would you like me to investigate further?
So here, FortiAI has identified that we have a user, Peter, trying to access a private application, the HR Wiki, and we know exactly where it's hosted. It's behind a secure private access hub in Vancouver. And so AI has been able to correlate all of those three different things to determine exactly which user is reaching which application and where that application is. Now, typically we'd want to confirm if this is the right user to investigate, and in this case it is. It's the right Peter. So we'll ask FortiAI to continue that investigation.
Yes, proceed.
Let me first review the SD-WAN connectivity health from all SASE locations. SD-WAN health metrics for Hub 1, Vancouver, meet SLAs for the past 24 hours. Additionally, health checks for other SD-WAN hubs look good.
And so here, FortiAI was aware of where that user was connecting to our Ottawa data center, and it knew where that application was hosted in the Vancouver POP of the customer environment. And the first thing it did was look at the SD-WAN health metrics from the SASE POP in Ottawa to the SD-WAN network in Vancouver and determined that everything was okay. It also looked at the SD-WAN metrics from all other locations, and everything was okay there as well. So at this point, the SD-WAN health looks good. So the next thing we'll look at is if the application itself is performing okay.
Let me analyze the Digital Experience Monitoring DEM probes for hrportal.internal. No anomalies detected over the past 24 hours for hrportal.internal.
And so here, FortiSASE from all of the different SASE locations is probing those private applications that are set up for monitoring, and it's determined that the application is healthy, the application is reachable. So it's not an issue with the application, and it's not an issue with the SD-WAN network. So perhaps it's something with the endpoint itself.
The issue appears to be isolated to endpoint YUL 200468 LT2. Let me review the historical digital experience monitoring metrics. This endpoint appears healthy. No issues identified.
And so the digital experience monitoring agent running within that unified agent on FortiSASE is collecting all kinds of information about the endpoint in real time and historically, including CPU usage, memory usage, disk usage, but also Wi-Fi signal strength and Wi-Fi health, and has looked at all of those metrics and determined that the endpoint is behaving as expected. And so if it's not an issue with the endpoint itself, it might be an issue with the endpoint's network. Maybe the user's connecting from a poor location. So we'll see what AI suggests next.
The following trace route diagram shows a clean path between the user's device and the SASE POP for the past hour.
So digital experience monitoring in FortiSASE is also probing between the endpoint and the SASE POP that the user is connected to determine if that path is clean and if it's healthy. And we've looked back at the history here and determined that the user has a clean path to the SASE POP. So it's not an issue with the SD-WAN network, and the user's not experiencing an issue with their device or their own network. So at this point, my IT team might be stumped. So we'll see if AI has a suggestion on what to look at next.
Next, let me review the traffic and security logs to see what's happening. Traffic logs indicate that the application is reachable. However, access was denied by the security policy as the endpoint failed the ZTNA posture check rule. ZTNA tags indicate that the endpoint has a new critical vulnerability which needs immediate remediation.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that are important here. First, we've determined that it's not an issue with the SD-WAN network or the endpoint, but it's actually a compliance issue. The user's trying to reach private applications, and in this case, they're using zero trust to block access to those applications when the user has a critical vulnerability. The second piece that's really important there is that that vulnerability detection is a built-in feature of that unified agent. The agent is scanning for vulnerabilities, and in this environment, a rule is set up to say users can't reach these apps if they have a critical vulnerability detected. So actually what's happening here is expected behavior. IT teams have set it up to block this type of access, and is working as expected. Now, as an IT admin, I would have to go and patch this device. So I don't know if I have to go do that on each endpoint manually or if there's another solution. So we'll see if AI has a suggestion for me.
The vulnerability report highlights a critical vulnerability with an outdated version of Firefox on this endpoint that requires an update. FortiClient can automatically patch this vulnerability by updating Firefox to the latest version. Would you like to proceed?
So here we can see actually what the vulnerabilities are because that unified agent is sharing it with the SASE platform. But a really interesting thing is that the agent itself can patch that vulnerability. And that's going to make my job a lot easier because I don't have to go and ask that user to do something. I can just trigger an update directly here. The other important thing to note is that up until this point, FortiAI has been running an investigation, but it hasn't taken any action. And now that it would like to do something or is recommending to do something, it has prompted me. And this is a good thing to do because we don't want it running around and making changes without review. This is something I want it to do, though, so I'll ask it to patch Firefox, and we'll continue the investigation.
Yes, please go ahead.
Firefox has been patched. I also suggest enabling automatic patching on the endpoint profile to ensure critical vulnerabilities are automatically patched in the future. Would you like to proceed?
So this is really great. FortiAI has first patched that issue on the endpoint itself, but it's now suggesting an option I might not have been aware of before, which is that FortiClient, our unified agent, can automatically patch critical vulnerabilities should we set that up. And this seems like a good option, so I'll have AI turn that on for me as well.
Okay, enable automatic patching now.
Automatic vulnerability patching is now enabled on endpoint profile ZTNA users. Would you like me to check the traffic logs again and verify if the issue has been fixed?
So now we've completed that investigation. The last thing we have to do is check that the user is actually able to reach the application they were trying to reach. So we'll have AI confirm that and then close out the incident.
Okay, check the traffic logs now.
Analysis reveals that Peter S. is now able to reach hrportal.internal.
So that concludes the investigation. The last thing I have to do is update my IT team and let them know that this is all solved. So let's do that. Okay, that concludes the investigation. Let's just do a quick recap of how FortiAI was actually able to help here. First, it was able to look at the SD-WAN performance metrics and determine end-to-end path quality. Next, it was able to look at the endpoint itself, both the health monitoring metrics as well as the endpoint network. Third, we were able to look at the zero trust compliance and verify that the user was non-compliant with our critical vulnerability tag. And then we looked at the vulnerability detection and remediation. AI was able to look at what vulnerabilities were installed and then actually patch them as well. And then finally, FortiAI was able to assist me with configuration changes to actually get something done. So you can see end-to-end here how what typically could take hours or even days was solved in a matter of minutes with the power of the built-in digital experience monitoring capability and FortiAI together. So thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, Jordan, for that great demo. As you can see, FortiAI Assist with Unified SASE is the best tool to streamline your operations, get faster troubleshooting, and improve user experience. If you want to know more about FortiAI Assist or Unified SASE, contact your sales representative or go to Fortinet.com. Thank you.